Hello, welcome back to another video. Today, this is going to be a little different, and I'm kind of excited. I'm going to be reviewing my animations that I've done over, I want to say, the years. I don't know how far apart they are. I wanted to review them because I'm planning to do an animatic sometime soon. I'm currently working on it. It's just at school, and our things are kind of like slowing me down. But yeah, it's planned to come out soon. But I want to see how much I've progressed and what I've done over the years. I'm excited, but also worried, but mostly excited. Okay, first is A Welcome Dream. This was my first animation. Um, Before we get into it, I want to clarify that I didn't have Clip Studio XO yet. I only had the trial version. And what happens in the trial version is that you don't get full length animations. So what happens is it limits it to like a second. You only have a second to squeeze in everything in that second. And then if you want to do more, like let's say 2 seconds, you can't. So you have to divide each and every scene and movement into a second. So what I did is everything here was made into a second and then put together in a video editing program on my phone. It's called Villo, VLLO, and the music and the noises also come from Villo. I'm excited and worried, but excited. Okay, hold on. There's a part I want to read. Okay. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay. This one, the very first one, didn't even have an intro. It didn't have anything. So I was barely starting off. And you could see that it was a lot rougher on the edges. But it still holds a place in my heart because it was my first one ever. And the reception was so good for it. And I was very happy. It made me really excited to do some more. Because I remember when that one went out, what's it called? I was at work and I would check every so often, like, oh, how's it doing? Like this. And I would see that it was on its way to reaching 100 views. I think it's 300 right now. Um, but yeah, I saw it reach 100 for the first time and I was very excited because I didn't think it was ever going to reach that. For some reason, typically my accounts don't reach a bigger, I forget what it's called. I think Insight or something like that. Anyway, yeah, they don't reach enormous numbers, but when I see that they start to reach those type of numbers, it makes me really happy and excited because then that means I could work on these things more, and it just means that people like them, and that's what excites me because I like working on them even if it makes me tired, but it's very exciting. For that one, it doesn't have really a cringe factor to me. I know that I'm not really into fandom as much anymore, and I don't really like that pairing quite as much anymore. But it still holds a place in my heart because it's my first one. That fandom started off my animations. It's still kind of moving it along, but not as much. But overall, very nice to see again. For the next one, there actually is an intro, but it's not quite as detailed as my detail. I mean, sorry, my intro that I have now. It's a little more just, hey, subscribe. But I think I made this one literally on the same Villo, same Villo app. Okay, I'm gonna stop it right there. Oh my god. Because I remember how incredibly hard it was to do this. Literally, because pausing it there was so hard for no reason. It's because I think I still had the trial version. Like, I still couldn't do long term um, animation. Like, I think it was still that 1 second that I had to work with. Like, it was incredibly hard for no reason. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. But I love, that's another thing I love. I love surround sound. Like, I love when there's the night sounds. That was one of my favorite things that I really wanted to incorporate on, because I don't know if you noticed, but in the first animation there was hardly any backgrounds. There was plain color, like not a lot of detail. And these freaking fireflies were hard. It was incredibly hard, but it was fun because I love to suffer. Like, it was, I would do it again. That's all I'm gonna say. This, I feel like I messed up on his face. I could see it now, but I feel like even then I wasn't sure how to approach it, because I would have to go through it again to see if I actually did learn from that or not, because I haven't really like drawn a character in that style at that degree, because it's not even 3/4, it's like 7/6 or something. Like, it is a very like transitional. I don't know how to describe it, but it's very awkward to pose is how I would describe it. Also, another note, I didn't have their voices, and I was like, I don't know how to incorporate their voices from a stream or a video into this, because I don't feel like they ever were in the woods. Like, I had to make this work without voices, because they're speaking, but there's no voices. So then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna use sounds and see where I go with that. It's so funny to look at. That could have been, that part right there could have been a lot more whimsical, I feel like, or more astonishing. But again, I was kind of limited because of the editing program, and also because, yeah, just editing program. Right now I'm using Filmora, I think it's called. Like, it's literally promoted everywhere. Like, each and every YouTuber gets sponsored by them. His voice was incredibly, well, quote unquote voice was incredibly loud. That's another thing with the editing software that I had then, that I still kind of use now. Like, it was so hard to coordinate the volume, because you would move the little thing and it wouldn't actually put the volume down or up. Like, you would have to move it basically to 0 in order to put the volume down. And I was like, okay, but you're not supposed to be that low or that high. So why aren't we cooperating right now? See, he's like way louder than they are. Like, yeah. Okay. Oh wait, no, there's a thing. And this, oh, I like pointed and you guys can't see. But this right here, this was an old drawing. I didn't feel like drawing more. I was like, and I don't know what's going on with this vase. There's a lot. Like, there's a lot. I feel like I've improved more, but also because I think I was getting lazy. I was like, dude, I just want to cut it short here. Because typically, for end credits, I always do something. So I put the, okay, thank you for watching, fade to black. No, sorry, cut to black. Then a little end credit. Think of like Marvel. Okay, we don't have that budget, but basically like Marvel. Essentially that. it's always fun. It's just that by then I am so worn out because I've seen the animation 10 billion times. I've heard the sounds 10 billion times, and I have to rewatch it another 20 billion times in order to make sure everything is well executed. Obviously, there's some things that could be corrected, but keep in mind, I was and am still learning how to animate. Overall, mm, I don't give this one my highest rating because I feel like I've done better ones. This one's like on the fence, but I still love and adore the backgrounds that I've done back then. Especially for this one because this one definitely influenced some other ones. Okay, for the next one, chapter 4. I don't don't remember which one this is, but here we go. Okay, the intro has changed. Also, keep in mind that I'm going to be commenting for my animations. I didn't comment on the first one because I was basically, like I didn't really have anything to correct because I knew that was my first one, and yeah. Anyway, I know which one we're doing now. So this one was essentially supposed to be like, back when Dream SMP was still like enormous, I was a big Quackity fan, especially for his lore. And I was like, okay, what if I did like a little intro thingy for him, like just for funsies, because I had seen another streamer get an intro done for their lore, and I thought it would be really cool. I did change the editor for this one, but that editor was really, really bad. Like, it's good, but not good for me, because it would lag my entire computer, and it was, yeah. That's another thing. I would recommend watching all these animations by yourself so then you can pick up on everything, because obviously there's not everything's gonna be picked up with me reviewing. Anyway, another thing that I had learned in this time was the sound moving left to right. If you rewatch this by yourself, you're gonna hear it left to right, and then there's more audio cues. And my most recent animation, the one that was doing surprisingly well, I'm very happy about. We'll get to that when we get to that. There's a lot of audio cues, as well as audio moving left to right, across the room, back forth. Yeah, like I absolutely love that. And as soon as I figured out how to do it, I did it. I took advantage of that immediately. I still didn't have a foolish design yet. For neither for Purpled, I was just kind of throwing it in because I was like, they're part of the crew, so I have to figure it out. One of the things I would have corrected, make them blink. If you plan to do something similar to this, I recommend have them blink, make them look alive. Right now they look like images, which they are, but I would recommend it in order to make it look a little more lively or a little more movement. For that, I would recommend Adobe After Effects, I think it's called. I haven't used it, but I've seen people do absolutely wonderful things with that, so I recommend that. And delayed lighting, also another favorite thing of mine. The audio fading to tunnel. I would have corrected the text so it's not so slow, because it feels like it's kind of dragged. I would have also added more names, but I couldn't think of anyone who would be in this lore. let me say this right now. Okay, what's it called? I think it was during this time that the whole like community, all 5 of us in the Carl Anthony community, really wanted them to, the 3 of them, to really communicate. Well, their characters to communicate, get along, etc. But that's all we really wanted. And then since Q was the main directive for his lore, because obviously it's his lore, we didn't always get that. So that's what we were hoping for the fourth chapter, I'm assuming, to be. That's why I'm assuming that's why I only put like the 3 names. I'm trying to like reconnect because it's like what, 2 years ago? Let me check. Yeah, 2 years ago. So that's what I'm thinking at most. I think that's why I didn't throw any more names in there, because the last one we had gotten, it wasn't really called Napity. I think it was more like um working on Las Nevadas and new integrants, I think it's called, or new people, essentially new citizens and stuff like that. And that is what we were really hoping for, the real crumbs essentially. But either way, I feel like I should have put more names there. I feel like that in part was smart, having his name fade last. I should have faded the music better there. Again, the editor makes it a little more complicated. Okay. You can watch this part on your own. I mean, I was gonna do it, but then I was like, no, this is not part of the animation itself. But yeah, essentially, it's more like a snippet of what like I think would have happened or would have been cool to see, you know. But overall, good idea, not the best execution. Hello, this is editor Toby from the future. The video was parted into 3 sections, so that means there's going to be 3 videos. This is the first one. The reason being, it would be extremely long if I put it into one whole video. So you will see the rest in the following 2. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.